Now, non-local residents of Mandera County are pleading for government support, saying they fear for their lives over the insecurity in the area. Well, this comes only one day after 14 people were killed in a suspected Al-Shabaab raid in Mandera. Meanwhile, bereaved relatives are currently identifying the bodies of the victims at Nairobi's Chiromo mortuary. KTN's Ian Wafula is following this story, and he now joins us from our city center studios with an update of yesterday's attack. Ian, over to you.
Just to bring you up to speed on what is currently happening, remember yesterday that 8 of the victims from the Mandera attack were received at the Kenyatta National Hospital, 2 of them in very critical condition. The families of these 8 people are currently there, and of course we shall just be giving you an update on their condition and also what the family has to say in regards to yesterday's attack and whether these people are going to get any compensation. Yesterday we also saw President Uhuru Kenyatta pay a visit to some of these victims. Again, yesterday the 13 bodies of the victims from the Mandera attack were brought into Nairobi. They were then received at the Chiromo mortuary, and currently families of these 13 people are currently just trying to identify their loved ones. Indeed, 14 people died from the attack, but we are meant to understand that the 14th person was a girl from who was Muslim, and therefore by this time she has already been buried. And of course we also saw some of the non-locals camping at the Mandera police station, where they claimed that this was the safest place for them to take refuge, since majority of those who were targeted during yesterday's attack were them, the non-locals. Remember that last year we saw around 36 people who were killed at a quarry at Koromai, which is just about 15 kilometers from Mandera County, and all of them were non-locals, and so they have a reason indeed to feel shaken. And of course yesterday we saw a lot of tension among them, and they were trying to just tell the government to relocate them. Now their leaders, led by Kenny Member of Parliament, that is Kanini Kega, was also at the forefront in terms of urging the government to relocate them. Remember that Kanini Kega's constituency has largely been affected. Last year, when those 36 quarry workers were killed, 12 of them were from his constituency. Yesterday, when the 14 were killed, 8 of them were from his constituency. And so he says that initially the government had promised to give security to these persons, and that's why some of them opted to stay even after last year's attack. But then again, his question is, what happens to them after yesterday's attack? Are we just going to see the same situation going round and round? And so during the day, later on in the afternoon rather, we shall have some time to talk to Kenny, Member of Parliament, to just tell us what are some of these plans they have for these people once they relocate from Mandera. Because remember that majority of them had gone into Mandera to seek greener pastures, and most of them were earning a living from being quarry workers and also being employed in the private sector. So are there plans to employ them once they come back home? Those are some of the issues that we shall be asking him, so to just get clarification on the same. So Betty, we shall just be giving you an update later on in our subsequent bulletins to just bring you up to speed on what has been happening. Back to you, studio.